Hello everyone, good morning. How are we today? Today we're talking about intuitive eating and honoring your fullness. So I'm Kelsie Michaud, health and life coach. And if you come on today, please say hello so I know you're here. I'd love to say hi to you. And if you happen to catch the replay, hashtag replay so I know you're here as well. And if you have any questions, just pop it in the comments for me. And we're talking about honoring your fullness or respecting your fullness today because I was recently asked this question: how do I know? How do I know when I'm full? Do you know when you're full? Do you know what that exact moment is when you're full, or what your signals that your body actually will send you? So I've talked about honoring your hunger cues. So today we're talking about honoring that fifth principle of intuitive eating, which is respect your fullness. And as I've mentioned in the past, diet culture actually praises restriction versus nourishment, which, makes it really challenging for many people to actually feel comfortable about eating until they feel full. So when I'm working with clients and they begin to just honor their hunger and they eat enough to actually feel comfortably full versus just kind of slightly full, they also experience feeling full after eating. More often than not, they end up telling me that they obsess about food even less, which is, it's so nice to hear, and it's so nice to know that that's happening. And they were, they're less obsessed with food, so much less than what they were when we first started working together. So they're definitely, they become more comfortable around food, which is the ultimate goal, right? You don't want to be fearing food. You don't want to be wishing that you were not having to think about food all day long, right? So this can help you to increase that body trust and the confidence when you are around food, which is so important in your intuitive eating journey. And I just want to mention too that honoring our hunger is important as well there's many reasons, because when we're honoring our hunger, then we are, especially when we're honoring it consistently, we're giving our bodies the nutrients, the vitamins and the minerals that it really needs to help build that body trust by feeding our bodies on that regular basis, okay? So another thing is that we're also helping too with that, the cues, to feel that trust and those hunger cues that maybe have been not there for so long, which is why you struggle with feeling your hunger. You're not really sure when you're hungry or what hunger feels like because we've ignored them for so long, or we just override them, okay? So, it can actually help us with those hunger cues to allow them to actually come back if they've been dulled for a while from chronic dieting. And by honoring our hunger, we're more able to actually tune into our fullness levels. So they kind of go hand in hand, okay? So then you honor your hunger, then you can tune into those fullness levels much more easily, okay? So back to our fullness cues. Tuning into your body's fullness cues can be something that's really empowering for you. And by doing this, you're able to actually discover how a variety of things can actually influence our levels of fullness, okay? Like different food combinations, how hungry we were, especially before we began eating, maybe if you're eating kind of distracted, and even the environment that we eat in, okay? And we're also able to recognize what the different levels of fullness actually will feel like for us. And that's what's going to help you build that confidence around food and helps you to just nourish your body so much better. So the respect your fullness principle of intuitive eating, it actually encourages your body to just tune into those internal signals, okay? And it helps you to actually figure out and determine when you are actually comfortably full and no longer hungry. So feeling comfortably full, that just means that you're eating more food, okay? And who doesn't want to eat more food? So when you're feeling comfortably full, you're eating more food, which is going to cause you to feel this comfortable fullness, okay? Because you want to eat until you feel full. You don't want to eat until you're overly full, but you want to fill yourself up and feel satiated and satisfied. And it's important to recognize that in intuitive eating, you always have that right to eat past that feeling of being comfortably full, okay? And without judgment. We're not judging ourselves. Nobody's judging you. Because intuitive eating, it's not a hunger fullness diet, okay? It doesn't mean that you eat only when you're hungry and you always stop when you're full. There will be times when you realize that, okay, you didn't eat enough to feel comfortably full, and then there will be times where you'll realize that, okay, I think I'm feeling a little stuffed right now. All right, these times happen. We're only human, and that's life. But sometimes you might want to eat more, or more of something because it tasted good, and that's okay. That's absolutely all right. You might have unexpected changes that happen in your schedule. Things come up, right? And that can affect your eating pattern as well. And like I said, life happens, and it's a learning process. Okay, so when we eat to the point of feeling comfortably full, our stomachs are just more comfortable, right? Eating to that point of just being comfortably full is a really great way to give yourself that unconditional permission to eat without any judgment, okay? And remember, dieting doesn't work for most people, and it can actually be harmful. So rejecting that diet mentality is such an important part of intuitive eating, which is actually the intuitive eating principle number 1. That's where you need to start, by rejecting that diet mentality. And sometimes you need to revisit that throughout the process because it can feel hard at first. Revisit this principle as you're working towards your fullness cues. And if it feels intimidating for you, to eat enough full to where you do feel comfortably full, remember that feeling full after eating, it can be something that's empowering to you, because when you eat meals that you really enjoy to the point of feeling comfortably full, you're just going to feel more mentally and physically satisfied at that point, for longer periods of time compared to when you've eaten to just maybe slightly full, okay, and then you're feeling like you still need to snack or eat something else because you didn't fill yourself up enough, okay? So you might have some maybe forbidden foods in your life, and it can make it really more challenging to honor your hunger and fullness. So forbidden foods can cause this, like, it's now or never kind of eating mentality, which that can create this fear on its own, okay? That can create a fear that you won't be able to eat that particular food in the future. So when this happens, what you want to do is just compassionately remind yourself, that this is part of the process, okay? And that with time, you're going to remember, or you need to remember, that you can always go back. All right, you can always go back for more food if you'd like. It can also be really helpful to go back to, like I said, that make peace with food principle. And just remember that. Remember, you're making peace with food during this intuitive eating journey, okay? So another thing that is really, really important to help you honor your hunger and respect your fullness is sleep. Sleep plays a huge role in our hunger levels, okay? And I know we're all like super crazy busy, and if it's possible, getting enough adequate sleep on a regular basis, let me tell you, it can do wonders for you. It can do wonders for you mentally and physically, because it's a positive way to just support your physical and mental and emotional well-being. So among many things, poor sleep has been associated with actually making people feel hungrier, okay? And what it does is it actually raises your ghrelin. It raises the hormone ghrelin. And it's going to reduce the quantities of leptin. It's another hormone. Leptin is going to reduce the leptin. And leptin reduces your appetite. So you don't want leptin reduced. You want your leptin there, okay? But if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to have as much leptin as you need either, okay? See that connection right there? So that shift in hormone levels can make that process of working with your hunger and your fullness cues so much more stressful. So when it is possible, another thing is try to eat in an enjoyable environment, okay? And have some really nice conversations at the dinner table. I think we've gotten away from that, and it would be nice if you could get back to that. And even that can help you to just slow down and eat more mindfully in a less stressed environment, which is going to help you to be able to honor that fullness as well. And by reducing the number of distractions during your meals or your snack, depending on what you're having at the time, it's going to help you actually tune into your body's internal cues so much more like effectively and efficiently, okay? And it can also really help initially to eat some meals and snacks alone by yourself, so that you're more easily just able to really in tune to what your fullness cues are sending you, okay? So it doesn't mean that you don't eat with anybody at any other time, but just by practicing, it helps you to practice listening to your body and feeling your fullness, because you're in when you're not eating with anyone, you're more likely to be in a nice quiet environment, and you're taking away all those distractions from your meals or your snack or whatever you're eating. It can make your eating a little more enjoyable sometimes. Maybe it's just a little me time for you. So let's tune in to how we feel, okay? There will be times when your body actually needs more energy, okay? You might feel that might be something that you feel. So that means you're going to need to eat more, all right? And there's going to be times when maybe you're not as hungry, and you might end up eating less, right? So working with intuitive eating and the hunger and fullness scale can really help you to recognize that there's the different levels of hunger and fullness that you experience when you're eating. So within that scale, it's like a 0 to 10 scale, and you want to start eating when you're at about a level 1 or 2, right at the bottom of that scale. That's like telling you you're just starting to feel hunger, okay? Whether it's a growling in your stomach, you're getting fatigued or a headache, or you're feeling it kind of in the back of your throat. However you feel that hunger, when it's coming on, that's when you want to eat. Not a half hour from then, not an hour from then. Otherwise, we get to that crazy ravenous hunger, and we all know what happens when we get there, right? We don't make as good of choices, and we tend to overeat as well. So when you're at like a level 1 or 2 on that hunger fullness scale, that's when you want to plan for food. It's like, all right, my body's telling me something. It's sending me these hunger signals. It's time to eat. And feed and nourish your body, okay? And then eat to a point where you don't want to get all the way to the 10. 10 is you're stuffed. You need to unbutton your pants. You can't breathe. You want to stop at like a level 6 or 7-ish. You're full, but you're comfortably full. There's a difference between that overeating, uncomfortable, and just eating till you're comfortably full, okay? So that's that hunger and fullness scale within intuitive eating. So that takes some practice as well, just like with anything new that you're experiencing. And, just try gauging your levels of fullness before you eat your meal or your snack, and think about the hunger and fullness scale to kind of rank your level of hunger. And halfway through your snack, or your meal, whatever you're eating, rank your level of hunger again. And then notice if you're still, are you still enjoying the flavors and the textures of your food? Because that's part of slowing down and eating mindfully. You're noticing all of these things. You're really aware, and observe all of that. And observe if you're starting to notice if that hunger is easing up for you. All right. Okay. Am I slightly full? Is that hunger starting to ease up? Am I starting to feel a little bit full right now? You want to keep eating though until you get to the point of where you're comfortably full. Okay. And notice how you physically feel when you're consuming, any more food, all right? If you keep going past that, notice it's probably going to get a little uncomfortable, okay? So that can even help you learn that, okay, I should have stopped a little bit sooner, okay? And that's okay. It's a learning process, all right? So notice after eating, you just rate yourself again on that fullness scale. And as you work with these fullness cues and just notice how like the different levels can even affect your mood. It affects your energy level, your eating patterns, all throughout the day. So be curious, get curious with yourself. There's no judgment here. And remember that feeling full after eating, it's actually a good thing, all right? So the bottom line here is that you deserve to develop this healthy relationship with food and your body, okay? You deserve to feel comfortably full and to experience feeling full after you've eaten. There's like no pass-fail in intuitive eating. The main point of working with your fullness cues is to develop that ability to really tune into your own internal biological cues and how honoring those cues makes you feel ultimately, all right? And with time, it's only going to get easier. So if you have any questions about how to honor that hunger and fullness, or anything to do with intuitive eating, or if you would like to work with me on developing, a much healthier relationship with food and your body, or address any general wellness concerns, feel free to reach out. You can PM me at any time, and I'm happy to chat with you. So if there's no questions right now, you can always pop them in the comments later, but I'm going to hop off. So I hope you all have a very beautiful day and an awesome weekend. So I'll talk to you later, guys.